This is a flying machine TNT Minecart nuclear missile. I believe it to be the first of its kind. This video will show you how to build it and what it can do. Hey guys, I'm the generic Redstone genius, and you heard that right. This beast has incredible destructive capabilities. We will start off the video with a demonstration. I will then explain some tips for using it. I will then do a tutorial so you guys can make this thing yourself. And finally, I'll explain how it works for nerds just like me. You can reference the timestamps in case you would like to skip ahead in the video. So, time for the demonstration. This is the missile. It has an armored version to protect the TNT. I'll show that in a minute. This is a solid wall of stone we'll be testing it against. You can start the missile by updating the top facing observer. You can do that any way you'd like, I'm just going to use a flint and steel. So once it makes contact with the wall, the TNT block gets ignited, and a few seconds later blows up, resulting in TNT minecarts blowing up. Now that's quite a lot of damage. It tore pretty much all the way through, down a bit, quite up a little bit. Tore all the way through. That must be like 15 blocks from that way, 20 blocks that way. That's a lot of damage. But this is the armored version of the missile. It might not look like it protects the TNT too well, but it will once you fire it. There are three flaws to it, however. It will hit the TNT minecart will hit the wall further back because this will get in the way. This will result in it doing slightly less damage. It's not a huge deal though. Also, if one random block happens to be in its way, kind of like this, it will likely stop the thing due to this making the push limit, making it hit the push limit quicker. And also, the other issue, the last issue, is that it's slightly bigger, meaning it might not be able to hit the precise locations as well as the normal version will. However, I'll now fire the missile and allow you to see how good the protection is. So as you can see, it's only exposed like a tiny bit, and it's moving. It's much better protected now. That's a visual glitch, I'm sorry. And it still does similar damage. So yeah, it's still a very good version of the missile. Not quite as much though. So my first tip has to do with the placement of the TNT minecart. So there's a large amount, so you'd almost be wise to get a dispenser with like hoppers and a chest, and then you can make an observer clock using observers to place them. So you just do that by placing that around. I'm just flipping it. Just grab a building block as well. Just grab something nicer. And then just put it in, and then place it, and then we put observer clock right here. So we place first observer like that, and then the second observer like that. So that makes a clock, and then what you can do is you can just place them in there. So and then you can like fill up this chest. So that's the first tip, because it does take a little while to load, and you don't want to be like, especially if you're in survival, because you're going to be like click, 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 click to if you have like, so you have like your entire thing, and you go click, 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 and that'll just take forever. So you should do something like this. The second tip is that you need a lot of TNT minecarts. So I'd recommend making an iron farm and a mob farm first, so you can get the necessary gunpowder and iron to make the TNT minecarts. Also, wouldn't hurt to invest in a really good shovel, so that you can mine sand quick enough, so you can get lots of TNT. Yeah, so that's the tips for the TNT minecarts. Another question I know I'm going to get asked is, why don't I do something like this, where I'd maybe have it branch off of one of the sides, where I put like maybe like an observer and like a piston, and then it went, obviously you have to connect the better, but, and then I built something out like this, where I had like another TNT like thing here, and there's much more elaborate ways to do it, and I'm going to tell you up front, I've already done it, and it's pretty cool, but the issue is that it's just so much more inefficient, and there's also a lot of lag, because when you're doing so many, because these TNT minecarts lag a little bit, So when you have like maybe like 6 or 7 of them going at once, it's laggy. Plus all these like advanced chains where it's like one observer is pushing this one, then it's like branching off even further to this observer pushing this, and like when it's like branching off in such advanced ways it lags. So the best way to do it is just to make multiple missiles. So put like one here, another one here, another one there, maybe like one down here. I don't know, like spread them out. And also, maybe if you have too many, like let's say 10, maybe fire like 4, then or like fire 5, then fire the next 5, so that you can like don't lag the server by, or lag your single player world by shooting all of these, moving all of these empty minecart entities all at once. My next tip is a defensive tip, in case you ever find yourself on the receiving end of one of these bad boys. So, the first thing you can do is shoot like an arrow at the TNT minecarts to try and reduce the number of them, so it can lower the damage and hopefully destroy them all. You should only do this if you have time, like it's far away, and you have a lot of people. But there probably will be people in the people attacking you will also probably be attacking, so you will not likely have enough time to destroy all the TNT minecarts. So what you can also do is get a flame bow and shoot the TNT itself so it detonates early. It might not be ideal because it might be close to your base and damage your base, but it's better than a direct hit. So I'm going to fly over and switch to survival after I activate it. So as I said, the first thing you could do is you can try and like break the TNT, but that's not going to go well for you, and you're eventually going to get blown up. Okay, so now as you can see, we're in normal difficulty, so if it does hit me, I will die. I'm putting on full netherite armor. This does have protection 4, all of them, and feather falling on the boots. Now let's set it off. Oops, it should not have done that in survival, but whatever, it's cool. So we get over here, and we can try and get an angle on it, and it's still difficult. You can get to, or you can even just hit the TNT minecarts or the TNT, and you'll see that you are safe from it just by hitting it. So it's quite easy actually to stop it. So that's pretty good if you do have a flame bow, but it is, however, why you might want to do the warhead shielding if you're like using the missile, or you can try and like do like a sneak attack or protect it in some other way. Okay, so now we'll be testing the damage. So I have netherite armor on, and you can see I have this little base, and I'm burrowed back a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run here, like set it, fly here, turn myself into survival mode. So I'm still in normal difficulty, still has protection 4, and now we're going to go. Oops, I accidentally took a screenshot, now I'm in spectator mode. And now. And it just like killed me, like there's no reaction time, it's amazing. Like you can just get caught by one TNT minecart and you're dead. Depends on like where it hits you, because if you don't know, TNT damage is done to the foot. It's based on where the TNT is, like where in relation to your foot. So if you get hit like right in the foot, like literally one minecart can just catch you and kill you. So it's very impressive damage. But yeah, let's move on to the next tips. So when you see one of these coming at you, there's a few ways you can defend against it. The first one you can do is just fly to it. But keep in mind this would be moving, and less of it would be exposed. And it'd be like immensely difficult to get a good angle on it, especially because it's even more protected when it starts moving. So that makes it difficult. Another way to attempt to do it would be you can try and attempt to land on it while it's moving, which would be difficult. And the first thing you'd have to do is somehow manage to make your way to the TNT and break that, so that there's no chance of it detonating. Then what you can do is you can go, once you've broken it, so I'll land on the, here, and you can break that. I'm messing up right now, so we'll do it this time. So that you can try and like get to there and break it. Obviously it'd be much more difficult while it's moving. Then you can come back here and like destroy all like the motor parts, so it's stopped. But this is very difficult, and it will be made even more difficult by the fact that whoever launched at you isn't going to just like fire it and walk away. They're going to be protecting it. And I'll actually show some ways to protect it in a minute. But, like further ways to protect it in a minute. You can try getting underneath, but that's not going to be exposed when it starts moving. And when I'll detonate in a second, I'll show you like how protected it is. But there is one way I developed that's pretty reliable to stop it. but it's still not perfect. So I'll demonstrate that in 1 second. So I said there's I said there's a way to stop it, like the armor one. Well, there's actually two kind of options. First one's honestly just run, because you don't want to die, you're already going to lose your base. But the actual option to stop it is you can try building another flying machine. So this is a different flying machine more than what's used to power that one. So if you see it coming out of the distance, and you have a pretty good range, you can like see it, and you'd be able to build it. So you'd have to get fast. I'm going to demonstrate how to build one. This is a simpler version of a flying machine, but you'd be able to like build out, place an observer, then you can place, I need a pickaxe 1 second. Then you'd be able to like, you'd have to be like quick about it. So you'd like place, place, then you'd go back to this side, dig that up, then you'd like place the slime block, and you do have, like I said, I'm not doing it quickly, you have to be quicker than I am. And you'd go here, and so you'd have to try and see, maybe you have somebody that's like good at it, get fast at it, and then you'd be able to launch this. Now that's completed, you'd be able to launch it at that to intercept it. Also, you can like kind of like widen like the grip, so like if you're not sure it's perfectly lined up, you can like do this and then like have it like go out. So if you think like, oh, I might be short in this direction, so you can do something like that. I'll just do a basic T in front. So I'll demonstrate this in a second. It might be actually a little bit too low, so I'll put one up. So I may or may not have made a mistake where when I broke the TNT for the demonstration, I forgot to replace it, causing the TNT minecarts to fall out. But no matter, I've rebuilt it. So now you see it works, and basically protection's full. You can kind of see it from the side a little bit, but again, that's going to be very difficult to hit. So let's fire this thing at ours. This actually can't be updated with that because it's vertical, but you can place like a button on it. So you can see they're going to collide, and when it collides, it's going to protect me. Oh, it's gonna miss it. You might miss it. Probably not though. Probably be fine. Yeah, and see now it got to detonate early. So again, it's hard to line up, but if you can line up, it is a way to kind of save yourself from one of the shielded ones. However, if you're the attacker, there's a way to counter that in a sense. So the first way is obviously if you just have your elytra on, and you get your firework rockets, you can try and fly at it and break it, or like just like block it or something. There's also two-sided two-way flying machines, which I'll demonstrate in a second, and these can just be used to protect the missile, and anyways, like just from people shooting at it or whatever. So I'll demonstrate that in a second. So this is the two-way flying machine. I just designed this quickly off the top of my head. I'm sure I can come up with something better. If you want a video on this, let me know. But basically the way it works is these move, and these are used to stop the machine. So this one and this one, the outside ones, are used to stop it, and this one is used to start it. So you do the opposite side of which way you want to go. So I'll show you. So the orientation of these, you need to push this one out. So the one you want to go, there has to be a gap. And the one that's like pulling, there can't be a gap or else it'll get left behind. And then what you have to do is you have to press this one because like I said opposite, so you can press it, then you can quickly hop into your thing and you can jump. It's a bit hard sometimes when you're moving, but then you'll stick just fine. And then when you want to stop it, you just have to spam that one a few times. And if you want to go the other direction, so I'll say survival, is you need to make sure that stays there, not like this, so it's touching. And then you push that one out. And then what you can do again is just press that and just hop in. And now I'm going to stop because otherwise I'll hit that. So see, sometimes you have to spam it because you'll get unlucky, but you'll get it eventually. I can make it better design, and I can make a tutorial if you guys would like me to, so let me know if you want to see that. They could be pretty handy, and it's very good for defending the missile because you can just shoot yourself off, and oops, you can ride with it. So you can be like here with like a bow and arrow, defending anyone who's trying to attack it by shooting them and whatnot. And then when it's getting close to explode, you can just stop it, and then you can then you can go the other way. Okay, not right. Then you can go the other way by clicking that and hopping in. So obviously it takes a little bit of practice, but it's a great way to defend it because you can just be shooting people. But yeah, so I can make a better design if you guys want, but just let me know. And my last tip is, potentially if you're assaulting a building, use a TNT cannon to first soften the structure, especially if it's like a bigger structure. So this is still like just a, I'm not actually going to do it, but I'm just going to demonstrate. So what you can do, pretend you just get a TNT block, like an explosion. And you could do like a powerful TNT cannon that has more than one block in the explosion, so something like this. It's like a big explosion, all stacked into one. You can find many TNT cannon designs. But you can get like a blast a hole in like this. So instead of the missile stopping here, it kind of penetrates the build a little bit, and it's gonna blow up backwards anyways. So you can do that to increase the damage to the structure by allowing the missile to stop here on this block instead of stopping here. So you can get like 4 to 5 more blocks of damage, maybe even more if you blow it up more. So that's just one more tip. And now let's get into the tutorial. So let's do the tutorial now. What you'll need for just the missile is 9 slime blocks, 4 observers, 3 sticky pistons, a rail, some building blocks, I'm just using sandstone, it can be any building block, and a minecart with TNT and TNT. For the minecarts of TNT, you'll need quite a few. Some people are going to ask, how much should I use? That depends how much damage you'd like to cause. It could be 20, it could be 30, it could be 50, it can even be 150. It all depends on how much damage you'd like to cause. And I know you're thinking, oh, 150 pieces of TNT plus 150 minecarts, that's a lot. And you're right, it is. But if you build an iron farm and AFK for a few hours, you should get more than enough iron, along with a mob farm to get yourself some gunpowder and just a good shovel, like I mentioned earlier. So, if you want to add the extension, you need 9 slime blocks, 10 honey blocks, 1 building block extra, an observer, and a sticky piston. So let's get right into the tutorial. So to start off, you will build up a few blocks. You probably want to do it pretty high, because as we saw in the beginning of the video, if it's low, it'll damage the ground a lot, not so much the structure. Then you want to get an observer placing downwards, followed by an observer to the left of it. I'm making it point this way, by the way. Followed by an observer there. You will then break the block underneath it and place a sticky piston with slime, another sticky piston, slime, slime, slime. I should mention getting scaffolding would be a very good help to help you build this. Then you'll place an upward facing observer with a sticky piston facing that way. Then you'll place an observer here. And then from this sticky piston, you'll place 2 slime blocks, place one below it, place one to the side of that one, and then one backwards. And here is where you'll place the rail, followed by all the TNT minecarts. And you'll place however many you want. Then you'll put the TNT here. If you're too scared to set it off because you feel like you might have done something wrong or whatever, you can always get a piston over it. And then you can link up like a redstone line to it, and then it'll update the observer, and then it'll fire it off. You can also just use a flint and steel and run away. And also, if you'd like to test it to make sure you built it right, what you can do is you can grab some obsidian. And then you can like use this to block it. Then what you can do is replace this TNT with a redstone lamp. And you can see that fires off correctly with the redstone lamp because it'll activate, and it won't activate until then. You can also activate the thing with a rail. I'm just going to use a flint and steel. So you can see this isn't turning on until it compresses, so that means we built it right. Okay, so we still have the light in for test purposes, so we can test it against the obsidian, but we're going to build the shield now. So you put a block, a slime block, you break the building block, and you build up one into the side one. You build to this side one and towards you one. There's a reason for there being a gap there. It's just due to piston push limit reasons, so I'll explain that more in the explaining how it works section. Then what we're going to do is put 2 slime blocks out like that, followed by another one, and then one above it. Then we're going to place the observer facing upwards with sticky piston. You might be wondering why we can't just go like this. You could, but there might be some issues when it lags that would break it, so I just recommend doing it like that. It's only like 1 more slime block. Then off of this, you have to place a honey block, and then break it again for piston push limit reasons. And then we have to go like this in this pattern. So 1 to the side, 1 up, 2 more to the side, and 1 down. And then to fully cover it up, we need to put 1, 2, 3. 1 back here, followed by a normal block, and it should be ready to go. So that's the shield. Let's test it. See how fully protected it is. Only from like the side can you kind of hit it, and when it fully compresses, you can't even like stop it. So that's the end of the tutorial. You now see how to build the shield and the normal missile. And now I will explain how this stuff works. So now I'll explain how this works. I will reference that one, the tutorial one, in a few seconds, but I'm just going to go from like the beginning. So the flying machine, most of you guys I'm assuming will know how this works, but for anyone that doesn't, it's basically just this, and then this. And the way it works is basically this observer powers that sticky piston. This observer powers that block, which powers the sticky piston. This is a bit of a unique design. The reason I chose it is because it only goes one way, so it can't get sent back at you. So the way that the actual detonation bit works is that basically what's happening here is that if we have the lamp again, oops. What's happening here is that it's basically pushing on different levels, so that it's not, this observer is constantly going, but it's unable to reach this would normally be a TNT, until it finally compresses because it hits something. So when it hits something, it compresses and it turns on. So this, for anyone who doesn't know, is just like a flying machine, like an increaser, because it just takes a update from moving and it just continues to push. So the reason we have to build this a block out is for compression issues, because this is all compressed together. This piston is kind of being forced to push it, which it can't do to push limits. But this piston will push it after it starts moving. So as long as it's far enough away, it can push it. So that works because of that. And then the ending bit with the shield works because it's just the observer being repeatedly pushing, observer repeatedly getting the outputs, so I'll push it to cover it. So that's pretty much how that works. It does use compression and just a cool trick. And for the TNT Minecart, for anyone who didn't know, it's basically you can just push it and like run into it. So if you drop it or jump into it like that, it can get pushed off, which is another really cool trick. However, if it hits anything, it'll blow up. And that's still really cool, but there's like the issue, like it'll hit anything, so that line has to be flat. And also, if you just drop it, it'll blow up, I think. Yeah, so if you just drop it, it blows up. So that's how the TNT minecarts work. It's a cool trick that I learned a few years ago. So yeah, that's the video. I want to thank you so much for watching it, and I hope you enjoy the missile, use it, maybe start a war with your friends and surprise them with it. I think that'll be really fun. But yep, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.